I'm going to go ahead and get started. Y'all can still continue to fill out your packets. But good afternoon, everybody. My name is Brittany Miles. I'm an education outreach specialist as well as a youth case manager. And so I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the workforce before we get into our program. So within the workforce, I know a lot of times people just think of us as the unemployment office. That's all we have to offer here. However, we have so many programs that are within the workforce that we also can help and assist individuals with. So we can start out with our business services and unemployment services team. They help and assist with job placement, job referrals, unemployment, and different things of that nature. We also have our SNAP program, so they assist individuals that may receive food stamps, and so they have a program for that. We have our Choices program, so individuals that may receive TANF cash assistance or need child care placement, it can kind of expedite that when it comes to child care placement. We have that program here. We have vocational rehab, VR services, so individuals that may have some form of a disability, we can aid and assist those individuals as well. So if they ever needed special accommodations to be able to function in day-to-day life, then we have that assistance. And then of course we have our WIOA program, or North Texas Works, where we assist individuals with either vocational training, on-the-job training, or a paid work experience. So Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act, what is WIOA? That's what it stands for. Back in the day, it used to be called the WIA program, but now they have added the Equal Opportunity Act in there. Here are our Workforce Solutions locations. So y'all right now are in our Wichita Falls location, but we also have a Bowie office, a Graham office, and a Vernon office. These are all of the different workforces that we have all over the state of Texas. So regardless if you live here and you decide to move off to the Metroplex area or you're coming from that area, we all represent and have the same type of program, and so you can get assistance from any of those locations as well. Here with Workforce Solutions North Texas, we serve these counties. We have Archer, Baylor, Clay, Cottle, Ford, Hardeman, Jack, Montague, Wichita, Wilbarger, and Young counties. So what is WIOA Title I program? WIOA is a federally funded program designed to increase access to training services, helping job seekers obtain and retain employment. Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act invests tax dollars to develop a skilled and educated workforce. So regardless if you're, like I said, if you're interested in either vocational training so that you can find sustainable employment, or if you're just interested in just going straight into the workforce and just being partnered with an employer and kind of working your way up there, or if you just maybe not have minimal to no work experience, then we have those different three different criteria to kind of help and assist you. Our number one goal here at Workforce is for you to have employment, and not just any type of employment, sustainable employment. We all know that anybody can go to work at McDonald's, Burger King, and places like that, and although there's nothing wrong with those places, because if you need to provide for your family and put food on the table, then they're good. However, it won't last you longevity. So we try to make sure to place you with good placement and find you that sustainable employment so that you can have a career out of that. So for our North Texas Works and our WIOA program, our number one objective is designed to help individuals secure the employment, education, and training necessary to succeed in the workforce. In your packets, in there, you will see a target occupation list. On that target occupation list, it highlights the job careers that are in demand in our area and surrounding areas. So you'll choose from that list. It is front and back. So you'll choose from that list when it comes to certain targeted occupations that you may be interested in, and we could either go to training for those, or if you already just you have what you need and you just want to be placed with the employer, then we can do that as well. Y'all won't have this other sheet that's in here, but it is our ETPL list. If you go to the TWC website and put in ETPL, eligible training providers list, it'll pop up with a list of training providers that accepts WIOA funding. There's also will be a link that will take you directly to all of those different colleges and universities or trade schools that accept our funding as well. We're going to come back to training, but here in a second, we're going to go ahead and discuss our work experience. So work experience, we partner individual participants with work sites to deliver a quality training experience. You'll be introduced into the working world while learning personal skills needed to succeed in employment. The purpose of Work Experience Program within WIOA is to provide you with opportunities for career exploration and skills development. So with work experience, like I mentioned before, most of the time we do save this for our youth. However, it can be for adults as well. this will be for minimal to no work experience, or maybe you've worked in a factory work, they no longer have that company anymore, and so you don't have minimal to no work experience. What we do here, we pay 90% of your salary for that employer, for them to be able to train you, gain those soft skills of just learning how to work. And just learning the different skills that comes with that employer. I can honestly say I have several individuals that may be on my caseload that has been able to go and do a work experience with a company, just gaining those soft skills, as well as when it comes to career exploration. I mentioned that we do have VR headsets, so anytime that you feel like you want to come in and experience with our VR headsets, you can do that. And what they are, they're not like the ones that you can buy from Walmart or Amazon. They have built-in software that we use, so you can kind of do different careers and explore different careers to see what the day in the life would be like in whatever trade that you may pick. They constantly update those all the time. So in the event that y'all would ever want to do that, you can just call up to our center and just let them know, hey, Brittany mentioned something about VR headsets, so that we can do some career exploration on that. Does anybody have any questions about work experience? And we'll talk a little bit more about it here in just a second. The next training that we offer is the on-the-job training. So this is a little different from the work experience. It's a potential contract with an employer to get the skills needed for hands-on work. We partner clients with work sites to deliver a quality training experience, hired directly by the employer in 10 to 12 weeks in length. And how OJT differs from work experience is the fact that you're hired on by us and we're paying that 90% of that salary. However, with OJT, you're hired on directly by the employer. So in the event that employer, their starting wage is $26 an hour, then that's what you would get paid as well. However, if it was a work experience, maybe they start off at $26 an hour, but we may only pay up to 24 or 25. So that's how that kind of differs a little bit. 10 to 12 weeks in length, so 3 months. So with this career profession is that it partners you with that employer. So maybe you just want to go straight into the workforce. You just kind of want to work your way up and learning those skills with that employer, because we know that a lot of times employers, it's just hands-on learning. When it comes to that, a lot of my clients like to do this. So for example, I've had someone where they were wanting to go to school for culinary. However, at the time, they did not have an instructor for the culinary program. So what we ended up doing is doing a paid or on-the-job training with Delta Hotel, so that he can work in the steakhouse there. He worked hands-on with the chef as food prep, did that for 3 months, and when his contract was ended, the chef continued to still want to help him and have him to work there for him. And then whenever they did eventually have an instructor, then we were able to turn around and pay for training for him to get that culinary license at that time. And then at the same time, he still had an employer that was willing to work with his schedule. So that's how this one differs a little bit from the work experience. Work experience can continue, that employer can continue to keep you on if need be, but in the event that it doesn't work out or you decide that you want to do something else, then we would find other ventures at that time. These right here are your steps for WIOA. So the first one is orientation. So it's information-based only. That's what's going on right here now. The next one is pre-eligibility checklist. In your packets as well, there is a pre-eligibility checklist. It's right there. You're on it. And it will just tell you what your next steps are. A lot of times we have orientation, individuals may not understand what their next steps will be. There's a checklist in there for that. Your next step, if you feel like you're ready to go, you already know what you want to do, it would have an eligibility appointment. Elizabeth Paul is our eligibility specialist. I provided her cards at the back of the room. But Elizabeth Paul, she's our eligibility specialist. She will deem you eligible for our program if need be. She'll let you know during your intake appointment with her if you're approved or not at that time and what documents you may need to bring. If you're approved for our WIOA program, then your case is reviewed by our supervisor and then you are assigned a case manager at that time. The next step is your TABE assessment or any type of substitute, TSI, HESI, or Accuplacer. And what a TABE assessment is a Texas Basic Education Assessment. Sometimes it's been a little bit since some of us have graduated from high school, so it kind of likes to see where you are when it comes to comprehension and things of that nature. Most of the time we just do it over the reading portion. It's multiple choice. It is timed. We do it every Wednesday at 1 p.m. There's no charge to you. And Stacy, who is our classroom facilitator, she administers those. If you have taken a TESI or TSI, HESI, or Accuplacer within the last 6 months, then sometimes we can substitute that for those TABE assessments. The next one would be our ITA approval. So once you've come in and did your TABE assessment, your case manager should have already been in contact with you to set up an initial assessment. We'll discuss your career pathway at that time, during that time, and then we'll be preparing your case for ITA committee. So what that consists of is a case manager, supervisor, business service supervisor, and our program director. We'll discuss your case, what barriers you may have, and what we can do to kind of get you to that next step. I will tell you, it's very important that you're open and honest and transparent with your case manager at that time, because we'll be discussing any barriers that you may have, because we want to make sure that you're a good candidate for our funding. The next and last one is job readiness workshops. That is also in your packet as well. It was the first sheet right behind the customer contact sheet. Those are job readiness workshops. We offer those here in our center. You do not have to be attending a program to be able to attend those. They're Monday through Friday from 9:30 to 11 o'clock. You can also attend them virtually or in person. And it'll help you with just interviewing, resume workshop, learning those soft skills, job searching, money management, and different things of that nature. I know that for sure we have a lot of our clients attend the Thursday, which is interviewing and resume workshop, because like I said again, sometimes it's been a little bit since we interviewed and trying to freshen up on those skills, or the resume. I will tell you everyone that right now, a lot of employers are using the AI feature. So you may be very well qualified, but if your resume doesn't have certain keywords, then sometimes it kicks it out. We see that a lot of times when it helps when individuals are applying on Indeed or different things of that nature, where they're like, I know I'm qualified for this job, but for whatever reason, I didn't get a call back. Well, a lot of the time, some of the employers, it's not how it is back in the day, looking over resumes. Sometimes they're using that AI feature. And if it doesn't have those certain keywords in there, then it kicks out the resume, even if it is that you're qualified. So Stacy, with her class, she most definitely can help in making sure that we have those certain keywords in there so that we can make sure that we're a good candidate for those employers. This next portion is our assessment considerations. This pretty much doesn't have anything to do with y'all specifically. It's mostly something as case managers what we look at. So we look at your current marketable skill, your previous workforce center history, what funding we have available, and with the funding availability, we can co-enroll you in other programs. So you can be in WIOA program, and you can also be in the SNAP program. You can be in WIOA and Choices, WIOA and VR. Program. So we can co-enroll you when it comes to that. The next thing would be our educational background. If you have a high school diploma or an unofficial college transcript, I will let you know that we also have a partnership with Region 9. So in the event that anyone needs to attain their GED, you can do that as well. We'll look at your financial sustainability, and what that entails is obviously with financial sustainability, sometimes we may have individuals that are looking to go to school, but if they're unhoused or sometimes transportation may be an issue or something along those lines, we're not saying no, but maybe like not right now. We have other barriers that are like a lot more pressing that we need to take care of prior to expending funding on schooling. So that's something when we say financial sustainability. Of course, the TABE assessment, I mentioned that earlier, your interest on the target occupation list, and of course, a good attitude and demeanor. I cannot stress enough how important it is to have a good attitude and demeanor. Sometimes individuals will come through and they'll feel like, okay, Ms. Brittany's my case manager, she'll take care of everything else. But that's not the case. I will provide you with all the tools and resources that you need. However, I will not do it all for you. I want to know that this is your future. I'm going to help you along the way. And I want you to be a part of it. So that's one of the biggest things that we look for as well. This next portion is strictly over classroom training. So in the event, if there's anyone in here that may be interested in classroom training, we look at commitment, you completing a FAFSA or financial aid application, and documenting the award amount or denial amount. Now that we know that there's some professions that don't require you to have financial aid, so like the CDLs, the CNA positions and different things like that. However, nursing, if you're wanting to do LVN or RN, some of those will require financial aid. And regardless if you are awarded an amount or denied an amount, we just need documentation of that. We work with government funds, and so we have to make sure that we have documentation and justification for everything that we're needing. We know that sometimes individuals may be denied for various reasons, and that's all good and fine. We just need documentation providing of that. Attending every semester full-time until finish, provide proof of attendance every 2 weeks. So us as case manager, whenever you come in to do your initial assessment and maybe training is something that you're interested in, we'll provide you with an attendance sheet. It'll have 2 weeks at a time on there. What you'll do is have it filled out that you're going to class. Your instructor will sign off on it, you will sign off on it. You can email it to me or bring it up here, whatever will have you. And then from there, we'll provide you with transportation assistance as an incentive. So normally that's $50 every other week. In the event that you don't have a vehicle, then we provide bus assistance as well. The next portion that we have is our submit grades at the end of each semester. Provide a copy of your credentials or degree, other documentation as instructed by your case manager, and maintain bi-weekly contact with your case manager. At the very beginning, when you're first learning the program, you may talk to your case manager a lot more than every other week. But after a while, when you're turning in your attendance sheets and things of that nature, in the event that everything is going well, it's just very important that we maintain contact. Sometimes we lose contact and things like that happen, but it's very important that we maintain contact and we know what your progress is going through the program. The next one is over OJT and work experience, and it's pretty much the same thing. Commitment, show up to work as scheduled, adhere to rules and regulations of the employer, turn in timesheets every 2 weeks. Now, mind you, this is for work experience only, because remember, work experience is where we're paying 90% of that salary. And so in that event, we will need attendance sheets. OJT, you're hired on directly by the employer. We do not need the attendance sheets. Maintain bi-weekly contact with your case manager and must perform job search after training if not hired by the employer. So in the event it doesn't work out with you and the employer, vice versa, we'll have to make sure that we are job searching until we're able to either find a new placement or we get hired elsewhere. This next one is over those job readiness workshops that I mentioned to you before. As a part of our commitment to your success, we hope that you attend the workshops aligned with your goals and designed to improve your employability and success within the selected programs. And so these are the programs that we have that are Monday through Friday. Those times you can attend these workshops as many times as you would like to attend them, virtually or in person. This next was of that pre-eligibility checklist in the event that you wanted to do classroom training. So we'll want to know what your interest is, what provider you have chosen, when the start date is, if there's an admission to college that you need to do, an application for college, that financial aid, and completing prerequisites. I will let you know that in the event that you want to do classroom training, WIOA does not cover the cost of any prerequisites. So for example, say you wanted to go into the RN program. So we know that Vernon College has an RN program, so maybe that's your interest. The provider would be Vernon College. Maybe your start date, say it's sometime in May. Admission, we know that you need admission not only to Vernon College, but you also need admission to the actual program, the nursing program. So that's the application for training, and applying for financial aid, and then completing of the prerequisites. So with nursing, in the event that you want to do nursing, there's a whole year of schooling that is required prior to you being accepted into the program. We do not cover the cost of any of those things at all. That would be up to the customer. In the event you have your acceptance letter ready in hand, then we pick up from there. And what we assist with would be tuition and fees, any books or materials, things that you would need. If you're just looking to go straight into work, then we cover the cost of training materials, clothing that you may need for work, and different things of that nature. And of course, we assist with transportation assistance. So those are the things that we can assist you with. Also, at the bottom of this, it'll have Elizabeth Paul, her information, like I said, and she's her next step. The next one is over eligibility. So our eligibility, we break it up into 3 different categories. This is a category that I work with. So I work with youth, individuals aged between 16 and 24 with a barrier to employment such as a disability, pregnant or parenting, homeless, justice involved, dropout, or foster youth. We also have our dislocated workers, so an individual who has been laid off and is receiving unemployment and is unlikely to return to the previous industry or occupation. Or we have adults or individuals receiving public assistance and are within the low-income guidelines set by the Department of Labor. Does anybody have any questions over anything? I know that that's like information overload, so I didn't know if anybody had any questions about anything to contact us. These are our different locations that I mentioned before, our Bowie, Graham, Vernon, and Wichita options. And this is how the extension that you would use to contact us in the WIOA program. Anytime that you need to email us about anything, we also have our email address on there as well. And if nobody has any other questions, then that's the end of class. That's everything.